Coolmore globally are renowned for their magnificent stallions and some fabulous names, and there aren't too many better than Churchill, a champion 2-year-old and a dual 2000 guineas winner at 3. He presents as a son of Galileo, a fabulous opportunity for anyone with a broodmare carrying the blood of Danehill. It's just been fabulous for so many years watching the legacy of Coolmore in Ireland, you know, through from Sadler's Wells, Galileo, High Chaparral, Montjuic, there are so many. And I always love seeing a son of Galileo come to Australia and get a great chance. Now Churchill, he's a little bit different to some of the rest, isn't he, as such a gun 2-year-old?
Yeah, he was a brilliant 2-year-old, but he's a great addition to our roster here at the moment. He was a real speed son of Galileo, a fantastic 2-year-old. He's probably got one of the fastest pedigrees we've ever shuttled to Australia. He won 5 stakes races in a row at 2, including 2 Group 1s. He came out at 3, won the English 2000 guineas first time out, won the Irish equivalent 2 weeks later, and was crowned champion 3-year-old as well.
CLEMMIE pulls a length clear, and the full sister to Churchill will go on and win the Cheveley Park.
He is just the best of the best, isn't he, of what John Magnier has been doing for so long at Coolmore, particularly in Ireland and here in Australia. But, you know, we have Galileo, then we have his mother, Meow, stakes winner, broodmare of the year. CLEMMIE, a champion filly, won the Cheveley Park, as did her mother in Airwave. I mean, this is a family that's been developed for a long time by John Magnier in the Coolmore team.
Yeah, well, this fellow was bred to be a champion racehorse, but really, as you've just said, he was designed a long way out to be a champion sire. I remember the exploits of Airwave very well. She was a brilliant champion 2-year-old filly in Britain. She was champion 3-year-old filly in Britain. She's a sister to a champion sprinter in Britain. We were lucky enough to purchase her when she came off the track. We sent her to Stormcat. We bred Meow. Meow had 5 starts as a 2-year-old, had enormous speed. She was a stakes winning 2-year-old. She ran 2nd in the Queen Mary at Royal Ascot. We bred her into to Galileo, and her second foal was Churchill, a European champion.
Churchill leads there with 150 yards left to go.
Well, I mean, as you said, what he did as a 2-year-old, you know, winning some of those, you know, they are the main races. And again, we talk about stallion making races, the National Stakes, the Dewhurst. You know, they are the ultimate 2-year-old races in Europe.
Yeah, well, he broke his maiden at Royal Ascot. He's the only son of Galileo to ever win a stakes race at 2 at Royal Ascot. He broke his maiden in the Chesham Stakes. He went back to Ireland, won a couple of group races. Then we ran him in Ireland's premier Group 1 race over 7 furlongs, the National Stakes, which he won easily. He went from there to England's premier 2-year-old event, the Dewhurst, which he won very well. He ran a faster time that day than Frankel and Teofilio, 2 leading sires of the world now. And he was just very, very impressive and was sent away as the winter favourite for the 2000 guineas.
Well, the Dewhurst winner leads the guineas field up the hill.
It's very rare you get a horse to win the English 2000 guineas or the English Derby or even the Irish Derby with a serious pedigree. And this fella has won one of the biggest English classics. He's got a pedigree to die for, a speed pedigree to die for. And it was great that he was able to do that first up as a 3-year-old, and 2 weeks later won the Irish equivalent. He ended up winning 7 stakes races in a row at that stage. He won 4 Group 1s in a row, and obviously champion 2-year-old and champion 3-year-old. And at that stage he had a time form rating of 126, which is, there was no 3-year-old in Australia last year had a time form rating higher than that.
And Galileo, I mean, we know he is just the world's best, really.
He's proven to be a great sire of sires, but 12 of his sons have now produced 43 Group 1 winners. That's individual Group 1 winners all over the world, which is phenomenal. He's the sire of 72 Group 1 winners himself. Like, he's going to end up with over 100 stakes, 100 Group 1 winners in his career, which is unheard of. He's had 19 Group 1 winning 2-year-olds. You know, he'd put a lot of stallions to shame down here with his 2-year-old form. He's just sensational. 19 Group 1 winning 2-year-olds already. In the Southern Hemisphere, he's had 9 Group 1 winners. A lot of people wouldn't believe that if you mentioned it to them. 9 Group 1 winning horses here in the Southern Hemisphere. They've won 37 races between them. We all know our own Adelaide in the barn here. He won the Cox Plate first time out here in Australia. He's running on, Galileo's running on 9% group winners to runners in the Southern Hemisphere and 14% stakes winners to runners. He's just a phenomenal down here. And it's great now that we've got his best son and his fastest son here in Australia at Coolmore.
He's quite leggy. I mean, he has the longer leg. You know, often you can see little short, squat, sort of speedy horses, but he has a little bit of scope there too. He's a little bit different to some of the Galileos.
Yeah, he's got very good size and strength and scope. He's got a lot of Stormcat in him. Looking at him, he's got a lot more physique than most Galileos. He's a big hip on him, big gaskin on him. He was a very sound horse. He was a very uncomplicated horse. He did everything effortlessly in his work. I had a long chat to Aidan O'Brien in March about him. And he's a huge fan and obviously supported him with a huge amount of broodmares in his first season, which is great. I mean, he had a great airway. He was able to breed really well, and it's a very important thing now in a stallion. Dane Hill and all his daughters are crying out now for a stallion. We have 2 stallions here already, proven ones with So You Think and Piero doing very well with Dane Hill line mares. Galileo has produced 31 Group 1 winners out of Dane Hill line mares. So anybody with a Dane Hill line mare, the evidence is there, the proof is there. They should seriously be thinking about a Galileo line sire for them. High Chaparral was a Group 1 winning 2-year-old, and you know, there's been some great Derby and Classic winners work really well here, but they had to have the pedigree, like Monjur, High Chaparral, as even Galileo himself. And even before that, horses like Nijinsky and Mill Reef were outstanding sires and European Classic winners. Camelot is another example. If these horses have the pedigrees that we really desire and they win those classic races, they generally turn out to be really, really good stallions.